The sun shone brightly over Earth, and people went about their daily lives unaware that danger was approaching. High above, in the dark expanse of space, an enormous alien mothership appeared. It was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. The ship was massive, covering more ground than a city. Its surface shimmered with dark metal, reflecting the stars around it. The sight filled those who saw it with fear. As the ship entered Earth's atmosphere, alarms rang out across the globe. People looked up, their eyes widening in shock and horror. News channels scrambled to report the event. Breaking news! An alien mothership is now in Earth's orbit. The anchors shouted, trying to keep calm, but their fear was clear. People rushed to their homes, locking doors and shutting windows. Panic spread like wildfire. In the heart of a bustling city, Commander Sarah Blake was at her desk in the military command center. She was used to chaos, but nothing could prepare her for this moment. Sarah's mind raced as she watched the footage of the mothership on the screens around her. This is bad, she thought. We need to act quickly. She turned to her team of officers, their faces pale with fear. Listen up, Sarah said, her voice steady. We cannot let fear take control. We need to find out what they want. The officers nodded, but uncertainty hung in the air. They all knew the Zarkonians had a terrifying reputation. They were known for their ruthless conquests and destruction of entire worlds. The thought sent shivers down Sarah's spine. Suddenly, the mothership began to broadcast a message. A deep, echoing voice filled the command center. People of Earth! We are the Zarkonians. We demand your immediate surrender. Your planet will be ours. Refusal will result in destruction. The word sent a wave of panic through the command center. The officers exchanged worried glances, knowing the implications of such a threat. Sarah felt a surge of anger rise within her. We can't let them scare us into submission, she shouted, her determination shining through. We need to show them that humans are not weak. Meanwhile, on the streets below, people were paralyzed with fear. Children clung to their parents and neighbors whispered about what would happen next. The thought of surrendering to aliens felt unimaginable. Some cried while others prayed for safety. Back at the command center, Sarah knew that time was running out. She gathered her team and brainstormed ideas. We need to come up with a plan. We cannot sit back and wait for them to attack, she urged. They all knew the risks, but Sarah's bravery inspired them to think of solutions. Maybe we can gather our best pilots and try to confront them in space, suggested Lieutenant Carter, a skilled pilot who had flown countless missions. It might give us a chance to understand their capabilities. That's a start, Sarah replied. But we need more than just pilots. We need a full team, scientists, engineers, and soldiers. We have to be prepared for anything. As they made plans, fear lingered in the background. The news continued to report the growing panic around the world. Sarah looked out the window, seeing the chaos unfolding below. She knew that they had to act fast. Let's rally everyone we can, she said firmly. We will show the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. Fear will not win today. Her words echoed in the room, filling her team with a sense of purpose. One by one, they nodded, determination replacing their fear. They were ready to fight for their planet, to stand up against the Zarkonians, no matter the odds. As the mothership loomed ominously above Earth, a spark of hope ignited within Sarah and her team. They were about to embark on a dangerous journey, and their bravery would soon be put to the test. The command center buzzed with activity as Commander Sarah Blake and her team worked tirelessly to develop a plan. The Zarkonian mothership still hovered ominously in Earth's orbit, casting a shadow over the planet. Fear gripped many, but within the command center, Sarah's team felt a growing determination. They knew they had to act quickly before the Zarkonians made their move. Okay, everyone, Sarah said, standing at the front of the room. We have one chance to stop this. We need to come up with a bold plan to confront the Zarkonians before they take any action. Her eyes scanned the room, meeting the faces of her team. They were filled with a mix of anxiety and hope. Lieutenant Carter, the skilled pilot, stood up first. What if we use a small ship to sneak aboard the mothership? He suggested. We could gather information and see what they are planning. If we can find a way to disable their weapons, it could give us a fighting chance. Sarah nodded, impressed with the idea. That's a good start. We'll need to gather our best pilots and engineers to prepare a ship, but we also need to think about how to get past their defenses. Dr. Elaine Rivers, a brilliant scientist, raised her hand. I can analyze their technology. If we can understand how their systems work, we might be able to find weaknesses. We can use that information to our advantage. Perfect, Sarah replied, her heart racing with excitement. While we prepare the ship, Dr. Rivers, you and your team can work on studying the Zarkonian technology. We need to know everything we can about their weapons and defenses. As the team members began to break off into smaller groups, Sarah felt a sense of urgency. They had limited time before the Zarkonians might strike. She quickly gathered her top officers, including Lieutenant Carter, Dr. Rivers, and Sergeant Lewis, a veteran soldier with years of experience. "Listen up," she said, her voice firm. "This mission is dangerous, and we need to be ready for anything. We must operate as a unit, trust each other, and watch each other's backs. We are not just fighting for ourselves, we are fighting for every human on this planet." The group nodded in agreement. Each member felt the weight of responsibility, but they also felt empowered by Sarah's leadership. Together, they began to outline the specifics of their plan. First, they decided to use a modified scout ship for the mission. It was smaller and faster, making it easier to sneak past the Zarkonian defenses. The ship would be equipped with cloaking technology, allowing them to become nearly invisible to enemy sensors. They would only have to approach the mothership when the timing was right. Next, Dr. Rivers and her team worked diligently to understand the Zarkonian technology. They examined footage of the mothership's operations, studying its energy readings and defensive systems. "If we can disrupt their power source, we might be able to weaken their defenses," Dr. Rivers explained, excitement shining in her eyes. Days passed, and the atmosphere in the command center grew tense. As the team worked, news reports flooded in about the fear gripping the world. But Sarah remained focused, pushing her team to complete their preparations. They practiced maneuvers, simulated attacks, and strategized every detail of their approach. Finally, the day of the mission arrived. Sarah gathered her team for a final briefing. "This is it," she said, her heart pounding. "We have trained hard for this moment. Remember, fear is the enemy. We are brave and we will not back down." As they boarded the scout ship, Sarah felt a mixture of fear and excitement. She looked around at her team, each member ready to face the unknown. With a deep breath, she took her seat at the controls. "Prepare for launch," she commanded. The ship's engines roared to life, shaking with power. As they ascended into the sky, Sarah glanced back at Earth. It was a beautiful sight, but it was also a reminder of what they were fighting for. She turned her gaze forward, determined to confront the Zarkonians head-on. With each passing moment, they moved closer to the mothership, ready to prove that humanity would not cower in the face of terror. They were prepared to fight, and they would not let fear win. The small scout ship glided silently through the cold darkness of space, its cloaking technology keeping it hidden from the watchful eyes of the Zarkonians. Commander Sarah Blake sat in the pilot's seat, her heart racing with anticipation. Behind her, her team was focused, each member ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. "Approaching the mothership now," Sarah announced, her voice steady. The massive Zarkonian vessel loomed ahead, its metallic surface glistening ominously in the starlight. It was more imposing up close, and Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. As they neared the ship, Sarah expertly guided the scout ship to a small docking bay that was barely visible on the underside of the mothership. "Hold tight, everyone," she said. "We're going in." The ship's engines hummed softly as she docked smoothly. The team's excitement mixed with fear as they prepared to disembark. "Remember our mission," Sarah reminded them. "We need to gather information and find a way to disrupt their systems. Stay alert and stick together." With a deep breath, Sarah opened the hatch, revealing the dark interior of the Zarkonian mothership. The air inside was cool and an eerie silence surrounded them. They stepped out cautiously, their boots echoing against the metallic floor. "Let's move," Sarah whispered. The team advanced through the dimly lit corridors, their senses heightened. Strange symbols lined the walls, glowing faintly with an otherworldly light. The atmosphere was heavy with tension. They had to be careful. Any noise could alert the Zarkonians. As they made their way deeper into the ship, they heard distant sounds, a mix of mechanical whirring and echoing voices. "It sounds like they're working on something," Lieutenant Carter said, straining to listen. "We need to find out what—" They turned a corner and spotted a group of Zarkonian soldiers gathered around a large control panel. The aliens were tall and intimidating, with dark skin and glowing eyes. They were focused on their tasks, oblivious to the humans lurking nearby. Dr. Rivers quickly pulled out a small device. "I can scan their technology from here," she said. "It will help us understand what they are doing." The team huddled close, listening as the device beeped softly. "Analyzing," it said, displaying information on a small screen. Energy readings indicate a powerful weapon system being activated. Sarah exchanged worried glances with her team. "We need to stop them before they can use it," she urged. "Let's find their main control room." Moving carefully, they continued down the corridor, staying low and out of sight. The atmosphere grew more intense as they ventured deeper into the heart of the mothership. Suddenly, they came across a group of humans locked in a cell, their faces filled with fear and despair. "Look!" Sergeant Lewis exclaimed, pointing to the prisoners. "We have to help them!" Without hesitation, Sarah approached the cell. "Can you hear me?" she asked softly. The prisoners looked up, their eyes widening in shock. "We're here to rescue you!" The group quickly worked to unlock the cell, using a small tool Dr. Rivers had brought. As the door clicked open, the prisoners rushed out, tears of relief in their eyes. "Thank you. We thought we would never get out," one man said, clutching Sarah's arm in gratitude. "Stay close to us," Sarah instructed. "We need to get out of here before the Zarkonians find us." With the rescued humans now part of their team, they continued their mission, navigating the ship with more confidence. As they approached the main control room, they could hear the hum of powerful machines and the chatter of Zarkonian soldiers. "Get ready," Sarah whispered. "We need to disrupt their systems before it's too late." They took a deep breath and burst into the control room, weapons drawn. The Zarkonians looked up in shock, their eyes wide with disbelief. "Humans!" one soldier shouted, raising his weapon. "Now!" Sarah commanded. The team sprang into action, engaging in a fierce battle. The humans fought bravely, using their skills and determination to overcome the Zarkonians. In the chaos, Dr. Rivers worked to disable the control panel, frantically typing commands. "I'm almost there!" she shouted, her fingers flying across the screen. Sarah fought valiantly, protecting her team as they battled against the alien soldiers. The fight was intense, but the humans were fueled by the hope of freedom and the desire to save their planet. "Keep pushing!" Sarah yelled, her heart pounding with adrenaline. They were fighting not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. Inside the dark bowels of the mothership, a new chapter in their story was unfolding. The air in the control room crackled with tension as Commander Sarah Blake and her team faced off against the Zarkonian soldiers. The sounds of battle echoed through the metallic halls of the mothership, a chaotic symphony of shouts and gunfire. Sarah gripped her weapon tightly, her heart racing. They had come too far to turn back now. "Keep fighting! We need to take control of this room!" Sarah shouted, rallying her team. The Zarkonians were quick and strong, but the humans were fueled by determination. They moved as one, covering each other and pushing forward against the alien forces. Lieutenant Carter took aim at a Zarkonian soldier approaching from the left. He squeezed the trigger, sending a shot that struck the alien squarely in the chest. The soldier fell, and Carter felt a surge of adrenaline. "We can do this!" he yelled, trying to encourage his teammates. Dr. Elaine Rivers, hunched over the control panel, worked furiously to hack into the Zarkonian systems. "I'm almost there!" she shouted, glancing back at Sarah. "Just a few more seconds!" With every second that passed, the battle intensified. A Zarkonian soldier lunged at Sergeant Lewis, who barely dodged the attack. With a swift movement, Lewis countered, striking the alien with the butt of his weapon. The Zarkonian stumbled back, giving Lewis a chance to push forward and engage another enemy. "Stay focused! We can't let them regroup," Sarah urged. She moved swiftly, taking out another soldier before he could reach Dr. Rivers. Each victory felt like a step closer to their goal. But the Zarkonians were relentless. More soldiers poured into the room, their eyes glowing with rage. "Reinforcements are coming," Carter shouted, his voice rising above the noise. "We need to finish this quickly." Sarah glanced at the control panel where Dr. Rivers was working. "How long do you need?" she asked, keeping her eyes on the approaching Zarkonians. "Just a few more moments," Dr. Rivers replied, her fingers dancing over the controls. She could feel the pressure mounting, but she pushed through, determined to disable the Zarkonian defenses. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the room. The lights flickered, and the air filled with smoke. "What was that?" Lewis shouted, coughing as he waved away the dust. "More soldiers! They're coming from all sides!" Sarah yelled, scanning the room for the best place to stand their ground. "We can't let them overwhelm us," Carter moved toward a nearby console and found a weapon stash. "We need more firepower." He quickly handed weapons to his teammates, bolstering their defenses. "Thanks," Lewis said, loading a new weapon. "Let's show them what humans can do." Just then, Dr. Rivers shouted, "I've got it! I'm shutting down their main power system." She pressed the final command, and the control panel blinked, showing a warning light. "Now let's get out of here." The Zarkonian soldiers paused, confusion filling their faces. Sarah seized the moment. "Now, push forward!" The humans charged at the aliens, using their newfound energy and courage. The tide of battle began to shift in their favor. With each alien they defeated, the humans felt a wave of hope surge through them. "Keep moving! Don't let up!" Sarah yelled, her voice fierce and commanding. She felt the fire of determination within her. They were fighting not just for their lives, but for the future of Earth. Just as they began to gain ground, a towering Zarkonian commander stepped into the room. His presence alone sent a chill through the air. He was larger and more intimidating than the others, and he carried a weapon that crackled with energy. "Humans!" he bellowed, his voice deep and menacing. "You will pay for your insolence!" The humans hesitated for a moment, but Sarah quickly rallied her team. "We have to face him! Together!" They formed a tight circle around the commander, ready to fight. "On my count!" Sarah instructed. 1, 2, 3, attack! They launched themselves at the commander, determined to bring him down. The battle was fierce, with laser blasts flying through the air. The commander fought back with strength, but the humans pressed on, fueled by their bravery and unity. In the heat of the battle, Sarah's focus sharpened. She ducked under a powerful swing from the Zarkonian and retaliated with a quick strike to his side. "Don't give up!" she shouted, urging her team to keep fighting. With every ounce of strength and courage, they battled on, refusing to back down. The room shook with the intensity of their struggle, a testament to the human spirit. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for the hope of a brighter future. The battle raged on inside the control room of the Zarkonian mothership. Commander Sarah Blake and her team fought with every ounce of strength they had. The air was thick with smoke, and the sounds of clashing weapons filled their ears. But in the midst of chaos, a spark of hope ignited in their hearts. Sarah felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. She glanced at her team, each member fighting fiercely against the alien commander. "We can't give up now!" she shouted, her voice strong. "We're almost there!" Lieutenant Carter darted to Sarah's side, breathing heavily. "We've taken down most of the Zarkonian soldiers, but that commander is tough." He wiped sweat from his brow, determination shining in his eyes. "I know," Sarah replied. "But if we work together, we can take him down." She signaled to her teammates. "Form a line! We'll hit him from all sides!" The humans quickly regrouped, positioning themselves strategically around the commander. The Zarkonian towered over them, his eyes glowing with fury. He charged at Sarah, swinging his weapon with incredible force. "Now!" Sarah yelled. They moved as one, dodging his attack and launching their own strikes. Each member of the team fought with courage, refusing to back down in the face of danger. Dr. Rivers, who had been recovering from the earlier fight, found her footing and joined the fray. She aimed her weapon at the commander and squeezed the trigger. The blast hit him in the shoulder, causing him to stagger. "We can do this!" she shouted, her voice filled with renewed energy. The commander turned, anger flashing across his face. He swung his weapon again, but Sergeant Lewis ducked just in time. "I've got your back!" he called out, retaliating with a quick shot that hit the commander in the leg. The alien growled in pain, and the humans seized the moment to attack. With each coordinated strike, they pushed the commander back. The Zarkonian was strong, but the humans were united. They fought not just for themselves, but for everyone who had been oppressed by the alien invaders. As the fight continued, Sarah noticed a change in the room. The Zarkonian soldiers were starting to retreat. "Keep pressing! They're losing their will to fight," she urged her team, her heart racing with hope. Finally, with a powerful strike from Carter and a well-timed shot from Dr. Rivers, they brought the Zarkonian commander to his knees. Sarah stood over him, weapon raised. "This is for all the people you've harmed," she declared, her voice steady. With one final blow, they defeated the commander. Silence filled the control room as the remaining Zarkonian soldiers realized their leader was gone. One by one, they dropped their weapons and surrendered. The humans exchanged glances, disbelief washing over them. They had done it. Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. "We did it!" she shouted, a smile breaking across her face. The team erupted in cheers, embracing one another. They had fought bravely and emerged victorious. As they caught their breath, Sarah looked around at her team. "Now we need to disable the mothership and free the other prisoners," she reminded them. "We can't leave until we've done that." Dr. Rivers quickly returned to the control panel, her fingers flying over the keys. "I'll shut down their systems and lock them out. We need to ensure they can't retaliate," she said, focused on her task. Carter and Lewis moved to check on the prisoners they had freed earlier. The rescued humans were shaken but grateful. "Thank you for saving us," one woman said, tears of relief in her eyes. "We thought we would never escape." "We're not done yet," Lewis replied. "We're here to help everyone." As Dr. Rivers worked, the humans gathered together, forming a plan. They would not only escape but also fight for others who were still trapped in the darkness of the Zarkonian oppression. With a triumphant spirit, Sarah turned to her team. "Today we've shown that humanity will not back down. Together we are strong. Together we are free!" As Dr. Rivers completed her task, the lights of the control room flickered and a siren blared. "Systems are shutting down," she announced. "Let's move!" They raced through the halls of the mothership, ready to escape and bring hope back to Earth. They knew this victory was just the beginning. They would fight for every human, for every life that had been touched by fear. With their heads held high, the team stepped into the light of freedom, united in purpose and filled with hope for the future.